Good morning to all of you. 7th January 2025. Today we are going to discuss editorials from The Hindu and Indian Express. You are welcome to Democracy with Dungavat channel. Without further delay, we'll go into article discussion. First article here from The Hindu. How governance should be enhanced in digital way. This article has been written by Pallavi Anand. She is IRS officer, 2015 batch, and even Venkatesh Raghavendra. He is a global social entrepreneur working with local communities. They are the authors. In recent years, if you see, India has taken ambitious journey towards digital governance. There is a transformation that designed not only improve citizen services but also strengthen capability of government employees. This effort this highlights critical truth. What is that? Efficiency of public service delivery. This is inextricably linked to skills, competencies of the workforce, whoever working it. If you go to any government sector today, they lack kind of skills that present generation needs or present generational society needs. However, despite several steps we have made and several journeys we have made, the huge question remains, what needs to be done in order to fully realize potential of digital shift. If you see core areas, governance is kind of complex web of decision making processes. When you see governance, this involves stakeholders, various stakeholders from government bodies, non-governmental organizations, local community leaders, even influential citizens also. If you see Chanakya's governance principle, they have left a huge impact, particularly in South Asia. They have shaped about modern governance theories, public administration, strategic diplomacy. Even Chanakya has written Arthashastra. This will give insights into statecraft, economic policy, ethical leadership. These things continues to serve a framework for political strategy, even governance ethics also. In this context, building capacity of the participants in order to integrate digital tools, this has become very essential in order to reimagine governance at each and every level. We have three layers of government: union government, state government, then it comes local level government. We need to include governance at each and every stage. Non-state bodies also should be included in this process. How capacity building should happen through digital governance. Basically, digital governance, this is kind of shift. This represents a change in the government, how government employees and kind of associated service providers or even intermediaries like contractors, they should engage with their work. Adoption of technology in governance, this will facilitate effective communication, informed decision making, streamlined workflows. Even public expectation keep on growing, and so does the skill set of those in governance roles. The pressing need for government employees, they have to become adept at navigating digital platform. This is very important in the world because world is increasingly becoming technology driven. Today you might have seen chat GPT, artificial intelligence, these are ruling the world. So employees, public servant, they must aware of these things and they should be evolving with the digital area. There are several initiatives. I got Karma Yogi platform. This has come to center stage. This was launched in 2020. This is online training portal. This aims to equip government official with kind of skills that are required in data analytics, public administration, even digital technologies also. Even there is a flexibility in order to learn different things in that platform, and it offers continuous improvement also. This is very important trait when it comes to adaptability. That is kind of definition for success. Equally, there is a transformative role thing, e-office initiative. You might have seen e-office initiative. Earlier, whenever ministries or government bodies wants to clear the file, they have to take the hard copies, they have to sign it, and it has to go to each and every officer. Till then, it will be lying on someone's desk. Suppose someone is absent, so this will create a lot of delays and all. Now e-office has come. This has reduced work. Now you can transfer e-office file through digital manner. Anyone can sign and send then and there itself. So by automating file management, even workflows, grievance redressal, these kind of initiatives, they promote real-time communication transparency also. Even another initiative, government e-marketplace. Whenever prior to this, there was procurement was happening. Many vendors used to come and they used to participate in this procurement process. However, suppose say Kerala is a region, there are several vendors are there, now procurement is happening, then only those vendors who are in that locality, they can participate. There are many such vendors from India, they couldn't participate because of the lot of different factors that have been imposed in that portal. With GEM portal, government e-marketplace, what is happening? Anyone in India, across anywhere, they can participate. Even you can go international wide also. This will give kind of transparency. This even increases competency also. There will be competency, huge competition, prices will come down. Ultimately, organization, whoever floating the tender, they will be benefited. So government's commitment to enhancing digital literacy, this is very commendable. Various programs have been taken in order to familiarize employees with essential tools of e-governance. There is working in arenas of cybersecurity, digital communication. But when we celebrate these advancements, it is very important to recognize challenges that lie ahead in this digital governance journey. How to take forward digital empowerment? Despite several initiatives that we have discussed, there are certain hurdles remain in the process that could undermine overall process basically. The resistance to change among some segment of the workforce, this is kind of tangible challenge. Bureaucratic structure, they can sometimes slow to adapt even with varying levels of enthusiasm, readiness among the employees. There are some people have quickly embraced new technologies, but other may benefit from extra training, support in order to navigate in the digital landscape. We need to train them basically. Government must strengthen its environment so that it encourages innovation. However, providing necessary resources for those who may resist or struggle to adapt, this may give a long-lasting impact. There is a lack of incentives that will raise concerns in government initiatives like I Got Karma Yogi platform. This can become only attendance tracker. True success should not be measured by participation of numbers alone, but by the platform's ability to deliver real value to the employees. Even it is worth to consider whether these trainings lead to meaningful outcomes like opportunities to skill development, relevant job posting, rather than just performance reviews and all. So they should really help them in upskilling. Additionally, digital divide, this is a pressing issue, especially if you see in rural areas where access to high speed internet, digital tools, this is very limited. Without addressing these kind of disparities, we are risk at leaving many employees, even by extension many citizens, behind in increasingly digital world. Cybersecurity, this is a large concern in digital governance landscape. Government operations, they are shifting to online. There is a risk of data breaches, even cyber attacks also going down. You might have seen Pegasus malware, ransom malware. There are several malwares that will attack this system. So we need to strengthen our cyber security also. Finally, there is need for continuous learning that cannot be overstated. Rapid evolution of digital tools, they necessitates ongoing training, upskilling opportunity so that employees remain capable and confident in their present role. Ensuring capacity building program, this will remain dynamic and adaptable in the new development, that is very crucial. So what kind of perspective should be offered? India's digital governance initiative, they have laid strong foundation now, but in order to harness the true potential, true digital transformation, much needs to be done. With robust infrastructure, targeted training, commitment to building dynamic workforce, India can become global benchmark for digital governance. The main key lies in ensuring every employee, regardless of background, rank, or location, every employee is equipped to excel in digital age. Only then we can achieve governance model that is kind of accountable, transparent, inclusive for all also. This is the article about good article. Next article we will discuss about global climate policy. There was climate conference in Baku in 2024. This kind of turned out to be climate treaty because they scrapped the defining future of the post-colonial world dividend between donors and recipients. Even it suggested need for alternate global sustainability forum. This kind of shift, this requires developing countries take charge of their own destiny. Before going to full article, let us understand what is this thing. You might have heard about Paris Climate Change Agreement. During that time, now the world has been divided into two parts: developing countries, developed countries. Those countries that have taken industrial revolution in 1800s, they have benefited immensely. They have polluted planet in such a manner that at the expense of planet they developed. Today, most of the developing countries, they have gained independence from British Kingdom or many other European colonies. Now they are going forward with development process. They are still in development stage. That's why we call them developing countries. So these developed countries, every year they should put funds of 100 billion rupees in order to help these developing countries, so that these developing countries can buy sophisticated technology that can counter carbon emissions. So the purpose of climate treaty that happened in 1992, this was collective deal with common concern. In unequal world, this was defined by G7 countries, reducing future emissions on carbon dioxide, despite the treaty acknowledging cumulative emissions alone matters. Developing countries, they agreed to take problem, but they did not have exchange technology transfer for funds and all. The backbone of current arrangement, there is a disconnect between academic treatment, rules and practice. This will provide continuous advantage to G7 forum. The way global concerns have been selected, this agenda has defined rules and regulations, though have been implemented. But there are several issues that remains unaddressed. There are two worldviews. Let us see. The former colonial powers, they kind of formed into G7 in 1973. Climate change with its reduction in emissions of carbon dioxide is the only for G7 who have overused their fair share of common atmosphere resources. For other countries, greatest challenge is sustainable development, like that is modifying pathways, lifestyles, energy transition. This is kind of injustice. This is the article mainly talks about. Those countries have been developed long back, but today we have not been given such a sophisticated technology transfer, and we have to spend lot amount of money. So putting cap on these countries, this is fairly injustice. Climate justice is not about perception of fairness related to policies. It basically, climate justice is kind of this questions framing of existing distinction between global and local levels, even between mitigation and adaptation. It is not just disproportionate continuing levels of emission, but also solutions such as like carbon pricing, trade restriction that will widen the income gap, increase inequality. What kind of global governance we need to follow? With global cooperation, this is going in danger. Three initiatives are kind of suggested by the author, Mukul Sanwal. First, BRICS and partner countries, they should take strategic leap in the alternative sustainable forum in order to support each other in the urban energy transition. This would not be anti-G7 forum, but they should be focused on units located in the member countries in different continents they should research on sustainability sciences, urbanization, monitoring G7 climate policy, even supporting exchange of experiences also. Second area, United Nations climate negotiation, this should be limited to reviewing emission reductions in G7, grant of $300 billion to the most vulnerable small island states and least developed countries. So they should carry out this negotiation and this grant should be allowed to these countries so that they can come out of this injustice. International fora, they should be seen as what they are, like annual stocketing. This will help in the world in order to assess the position and decide whether what kind of course correction need to be done accordingly in order to reduce carbon emissions. World Trade Organization with its dysfunctional dispute settlement, this can be allowed in order to negotiate these kind of issues. The BRICS, this can play a bridging role in new multilateralism. This will entitle the full rightful place in the United Nations Security Council. This is about global climate policy, what kind of actions need to be taken. Next article, we will discuss about budget and farm related issues. Most of the time it is said, mistakes don't kill us, but persisting with them can be fatal. Suppose say you are carrying one mistake. If you can understand quickly, then you can come out of that mistake. If you keep on committing the same mistake, this will lead to kind of huge failure. So government also should introspect on why farming should be imploding and how to integrate farming in several areas. In the pre-budget discussions on agriculture with finance minister, author is basically telling, he suggested government order audit of its programs by beneficiaries. Government is carrying out many programs towards farmers, so he suggested for audit of those programs. Government even acknowledges the need, but given bureaucratic issues, this critical audit is bound to be sidestepped. Even he thought about several years why finance minister meeting the farmers representative, especially like budget allocations are made at specific request of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Most of the suggestions either repeated annually, they have no relevance to the budget. But he says finance minister remarkable patience to engage with critics for hours in this consultation with farmers and economists. This is kind of representative of agro industry that can be find their way in order to address their issues. It was very sad to see and even to learn Union Minister for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, they met farmer representative prior to budget session, possibly first Union Minister for Agriculture to do so. Indian agricultural research system, this has consistently failed in order to meet expectation in real terms in closing the yield gap in crop productivity. Like this kind of blame is on the lack of funding support. Even there is a lack of support system in order to spread the scarce resources in across all the crops, even type classes of the crops, so that this critical inertia for transformative change is not achieved in any of the crop. They have not carried out and they haven't achieved. So this legacy of ticking all boxes is not justified. It never was. They never understood like all the crops they are suggesting. Even if you see MSP, if you offer MSP on few products, minimum support price, farmers will take it guaranteed and then they will produce those crops. Rest of the crops it will remain outside. If you see like there are three nutritionally vital crops that are potential to double the yield, but India's extensively dependent on imports. They supported finance ministry and government in order to put some 1,000 crore per year in order to put on gram, chickpea in pulses, in oil seeds, soybean, that is kind of kharif crop, mustard, rabi crop for 8 years. This is the time in order to achieve the research breakthrough. India cannot continue to invest as it has been doing, and India cannot expect sharp improvement in agriculture productivity. Nearly 45% of Indian farmers, they grow only on field crops, no horticulture or animal husbandry. Even over a decade, they have witnessed near zero or negative growth rates in the value of the output. They are kind of very distressed. Problems around marketing of perishable horticultural products, they remain kind of unsolved. Even 5% increase or decrease in the production, this can lead to inverse 50% fall in rise of farmers' prices. Understanding this problem, government tried literally, they have rammed through reforms in order to deregulate agricultural market. There are several complexities around reforming the sector. They are governed by states. They are enacting the laws and councils. They have only increased the problems. The problems haven't solved at the ground in actual manner. Even uniform taxation in agricultural markets in India, like GST, this will kind of give a good pathway in order to improve the governance, mitigation of food inflation, even price fluctuation also. Most importantly, there is an expectation this will ignite entrepreneurial spirit in order to drive regulated competition in that benefits farmers and consumers. Market fees and other charges that come from horticultural product, they are they are collected by all states that vary, and collected amounts to almost 908 crores in 2018 and 19. Government of India does not have data on revenue collections for later years. Even if we see optimistically, if collection doubled over 5 years, it would not exceed kind of 2000 crores. Short termism of financially constrained states, this can make reluctant to forego revenues and label such initiative as assault on this kind of federal structure. Bharat Krishak Samaj, they propose smarter way forward. Center, through its 16th Finance Commission, they could offer financially compensate the states for 5 years for reduction in the fees and charges of the horticulture produce to 0.1%. Nominal fee, this should be charged for purely administrative reasons like collecting minimal real-time data. This will be in line with the judgment that benefits one nation, one tax. There are stakes for India that could not be higher. Essentially, when past budget allocation was done regarding agriculture, they proved that strategic thinking on use of land for meeting competing objective, this is kind of missing. This has left nation unprepared for climate change, even making Bharat Viksit Bharat. Even author says approach should be try and fail rather than not to try at all. So this is the article about. So we discussed 3 articles. One is governance and digital way. Second article is about global climate policy. Third article, how budget should be incorporated in the formulas. So thank you very much for discussion.